Today's episode is inspired from my Self-Care Society class titled A Little More Spring in Your Step. Now, before we dig in, happy spring, my friends. This episode is airing live on the first day of spring here in the United States, and it's the perfect time for new beginnings and fresh starts. So we'll dig into more of that in our episode today. But first, I wanted to quickly mention our U-Year program. This powerful program takes under 5 hours to complete and helps you to craft an intentional annual vision and plan no matter when you need a fresh start. So if you are craving a deeper connection to your desires and want to really start living out the goals and dreams you have for yourself in your life, U-Year Anytime is the perfect program to guide you through the process of actually making that happen. Okay, so visit selfcaresociety.co to learn more. So our opening quote comes from Ralph Waldo Emerson and says, "Most of the shadows of this life are caused by standing in one's own sunshine." So we're going to look at vibrancy today. And the dictionary defines vibrancy as being full of energy and enthusiasm. And that, my friends, that's how I want to live my life. I want to feel full of energy and enthusiasm. So before we jump into everything, we're going to do our pause and practice. So if it feels good to you, you can close your eyes, put a hand on your heart, whatever you want. And I want you to just embody and feel into, what does it feel like to feel vibrant? Where do you notice it in your body? To me, I can't help but smile. I can't help but want to lift my chin to the sun, feel like I want to be seen, put myself out in the world. So what does that look like to you? What does it feel like to you? And can you take muscle memory and soak that up and bring it with you today? Okay, so when you're ready, if your eyes were closed, you can open your eyes. And I want you to just soak up and embody that feeling, because embodiment and bringing this into our nervous system is a huge part of actually experiencing it, right? We can only do so much with our mind, with all these other things, but the actual goal is to bring that feeling into our body and into our nervous system. And that's what we just did. And so we can always come back to that when we choose. Now, for me, I'll tell you a little bit of a story about vibrancy for me. So at the end of 2013, I had a revelation. It was quite possibly one of the biggest that I've had in my life, but it was also simple. And I had heard the quote many times: the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And for some reason, this time that I heard it, it just hit me. Like I really grasped the power of it. So the truth was, I had all these dreams and desires for myself that I wanted and really believed I could have, but I wasn't taking any different actions in my life to get me there. I was out partying and drinking and eating crappy food. I was in denial of my financials. I was trashing my body. I was chasing relationships that didn't serve me. And I was waking up each day expecting something to change. And change happens when you change something. It's simple, but it's profound. So fortunately, this time in my life, I had just made a big move across country from LA to New York City. At the time, I was staying on my brother's couch while I figured things out, and I was going to be living on my own for the first time ever. So this bold change of environment made it much easier to change other things because I wasn't yet on autopilot. And to top that off, it was the very end of a year. So I was certainly in this sort of fresh start energy. So I threw a small goal setting party at my brother's house. Thank you, Blake. And I spoke out loud some commitments I was going to make for myself. And one of those was to do a sober January. And then with that, I decided to do a clean eating program, and I found the Whole30. So I soon moved into my own studio apartment in the West Village. And before I knew it, I had completed a full month of sobriety and completely changed the way I was feeding myself. And to say that I felt vibrant is a massive, massive understatement. I truly never felt better in my life. And I was in complete shock at how much my life could change in just 30 days from some relatively small changes. And I was just hooked, and it led me down this path that eventually brought me to where I am today, committed to helping others cultivate self-care routines that support them and to pursue all they desire for themselves and for their life right now. Now, eventually, I started working out more. I got into journaling and meditating. I couldn't get enough reading material in the realm of personal growth. I tapped into my passions and I started sharing them with others. I started my first business. I built a community and a platform sharing my passions, like so much stuff. And I felt so vibrant and so magnetic. And now, 10 years later, I'm still living that life. And while the contrast isn't quite as dramatic as it was at that time, going from feeling like really foggy and crappy often to that, energized, I still get to continually evolve my vibrancy in the ways that resonate for me right now. Okay. And it is my wish that everyone everywhere gets the opportunity to know just how good it is possible to feel, like what's possible for you. And it won't necessarily be easy, but it will certainly be worth it. So next, I have 3 tips for you. Okay. So you're wanting more vibrancy, don't we all? Like, how can we cultivate it? Well, the first tip is that physical vibrancy starts with our health. We've heard it before, we'll hear it again, but our health is our true wealth. So for me, the most vibrant that I feel is when I'm caring for myself as best as I can. And this looks differently for everyone, but for me, it looks like getting good sleep, eating natural foods that make me thrive, hydrating, moving my body mindfully, taking time in nature, spending my time doing what I love, and just making sure to leave space for my inner self to be attended to. The second thing is that we glow when we talk about things we love. So if you do the work to really clarify what those things are, that's going to help. Usually the things that we are passionate about are the things that were actually once struggles or challenges for us, but that we've overcome and that we want to share and help others with. So what are you uniquely suited to support others with? And how can you start speaking your truth out loud? You're going to glow just because of the energy that your purpose is rooted in. And the third is to shed. Okay. So at your core, you are your most vibrant self. Think about a little kid, right? They're like so pure and so vibrant, right? But we tend to wear a lot of masks, especially as we get older, of who we think we should be. And I have found that the more I can trim the fluff, the more I can pull away the false facades, and the more energy I put into getting to know the authentic me and living fully as her as often as possible, the more vibrant I become. I believe that beauty and vibrancy is an inside job, but I'm certainly not mad at the way it expresses itself on the outside. All right. So hopefully those tips help you. So let's practice feeling more vibrant together with some exercises straight from Self-Care Society classes. As always, we'll pause to give you a moment to think, but feel free to stop the recording if you need more time to ponder or write. You'll also hear inspiring examples from our live classes too. And you can join us for a full schedule of live and on-demand classes at selfcaresociety.co. So our first exercise is a journaling exercise or a pondering exercise if you're not writing right now. And it's called your fullest bloom, okay? I want you to think about yourself in your fullest bloom. And I want you to write a vision for what this looks like. Anything that comes to mind, okay? If you need some prompts, you might think about where you are, who you're with, how you feel, what you do, what excites you, what the weather's like, what you're proud of, what your daily habits are, and so on. Okay. So for example, I might say, I am rested, vibrant, and strong. I feel so spacious and so grateful. I look around at our space and our garden and take a deep breath of gratitude. I am living in my most aligned experience. I am deeply fueled by my work and I am present with my beautiful family. Life feels balanced and juicy and exciting. I've never felt so healthy and energized and clear. I have amazing friends and close connections, and so on. Okay, so take a moment here to think about yourself in your fullest bloom. What does that look like? Sequoia says, I feel loved from the top of my head to the tip of my toes to the bottom of my soul. I am completely confident and comfortable in my own skin. Vanessa says, I am happy. I'm learning that happiness comes from the inside, and I feel that my inner light is shining bright and strong. Thea says, when I am in my fullest bloom, I am creative and creating. I have a base of healthy habits and support that keep me grounded while I explode into limitless potential. Wow. My gosh, so good. Okay, so next we're going to do a gratitude practice, gratitude for a special spring. I want you to write some gratitude statements from the future, saying thank you for anything you wish to experience in the spring season as if they've already arrived. Okay, so for example, thank you for the most gorgeous garden I've ever grown, all the stunning flowers, and the many, many hours I've spent soaking it all in. Thank you for the courage to try new things and doing so while keeping my self-care and spaciousness in mind. Thank you for my health and vitality and feeling better than I ever have. Okay, so now's your chance. Pause. What are you grateful for that you're calling in the season ahead? Suzanne says, thank you for finding your way and your light in your career. You are just coming into your fullest bloom, and I am so excited to see where you go. Carrie says, thank you for more aligned days and rhythm to that which matters most. Gretchen says, thank you for the courage to be uncomfortable in order to make changes. Beautiful. So our next exercise is an intentionality exercise called an environment for blooming. And I love a garden analogy. I am a big fan of gardening. So a plant thrives not because of what it innately is, but because of the environment that supports us, that supports the plant. So when you think of yourself as a flower and what it takes to support your fullest bloom, what is the list of ways you care for yourself? Okay, so I want you to just list as many as you can think of. So my example, 7 to 9 hours of sleep, time in nature, a reasonable to-do list, limited stress, time in the garden, support with childcare, a clean home, limited social media consumption, and so on. Okay, so if you were to create a beautiful environment for you to thrive, knowing that's a huge part of the puzzle, what is that? What are those habits? What does that consist of? Vanessa says, following up my morning and night self-care routines, following up on them, spending time in nature and catching the sunlight, connecting with friends and family, limiting stress, having healthy, balanced eating, quality sleep, having a clean house, and exercising daily. Amen. Right there with you. So our next exercise is an affirmation exercise called This Spring I Am. Okay. And you're going to use the prompt, This Spring I Am, to write affirmations for the new season ahead as if they are true for you. Okay, so my example, as I said, this spring I am filled with gratitude frequently at the beautiful life I have created. This spring I am impactful and sharing my most helpful gifts with the world. This spring I am clear-minded and aligned with my purpose and what matters. Okay, so I want you to think of at least one here. This spring, who are you? Who are you going to be? And affirm it. Ashley says, this spring I am healthy and caring for myself daily. Jennifer says, this spring I am more loving to myself. Octavia says, this spring I am confidently abundant, absorbing all aligned opportunities and presently leaning into this journey of blooming. Wow. All right, and now we have a clarity exercise. The first day to bloom is what it's called. And I want you to think about if you were to do something differently today. to start this new season off in the direction of your fullest bloom, how might the day go? Okay, so I want you to write or think about the rest of your day today. As soon as you leave this episode, as soon as you turn things off, imagining all the beautiful ways that you will care for yourself and go after your dreams. Okay, so my examples, I said, I grab some fresh coffee and go outside with my daughters. We meander around the garden as the sun is rising, more present than we've ever been. We swing in the hammock and I soak it all in. I take some time to organize my day and write priorities on the whiteboard and organize Asana accordingly. I include a big button action for the week. When the girls nap, I lift weights and honor my strength. And I take the time to meditate and journal and so on. Okay. So for this final exercise, take a moment to think about how you might do things differently as you step into your fullest bloom in this springtime. And now we have a beautiful share from Octavia.
I will nourish myself and I will quickly clean before leaving the house to create space to welcome me when I get back. I will walk with humor and notice all the beautiful things around me. I will smile at those passing by, and that's all I got.
Thank you so much, Octavia. And to all of you here, you are vibrant. You're vibrant at your core. And I hope you will have the courage to do whatever it takes to continue chipping away all that keeps you from living and experiencing that. You deserve vibrant health and happiness. And each day you can take steps closer to that being your truth. I am right on that path with you. And I love to watch you shine. Thank you for joining me today on your morning mindset practice. I hope you're feeling more vibrant, and I'd love to have you join us at selfcaresociety.co for a live or on-demand class so you can stay consistent with your self-care, connect with other like-minded people, and continue filling your cup so you can overflow onto the world. We need you, and I'll see you next time.